Mexican corn whiskey just wasn't on my radar until I saw Abasolo at a liquor store. Let's try it. It definitely has a strong vanilla taste, so I don't think that there was anything added. I think that's from the aging. But it definitely has like a almost popcorn-like flavor, so this should be really fun to make some cocktails with. Green peppers go well with corn, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to try a drink with Abasolo and Ancho Verde. I used the equal parts cocktail formula to come up with this recipe. The equal parts cocktail formula is 1 main spirit, 1 lower proof liqueur, 1 higher proof liqueur, and citrus, equal parts of each. I'm also going to add a few drops of 20% saline solution. The purpose of this, it's just like if you add a pinch of salt to like a batch of cookies, it just enhances some of the flavors. I'm going to add a couple 1-inch cubes to my tin. Give it a nice shake. I have prepared a glass with habanero tahini garnish. If you want to know how I did that, I used the Wilton Dab and Hold edible glue. And there we have our Last Cob. Next up we have the Abasolo Sour. I found this recipe on the Abasolo website. Not only did they use Campari, but they also used a type of sugar I had never heard of. This is called Piloncillo, and this is basically unprocessed cane sugar. I was able to get it at a Mexican grocery store. This is the natural color. It doesn't have molasses added. Basically what they do to make it is they crush sugar cane, collect the juice, and convert that to a syrup, and then they use the syrup to make these little cones or loaves. Piloncillo actually means little loaf. When I made my syrup with this, I just kind of grated it into the water. I did about a 50-50 simple syrup, and here's how it came out. So we'll use that in our sour. So for this one, we're going to start out with 2 ounces of our Abasolo, 1/4 ounce of Campari, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice, and 1/2 ounce of our Piloncillo syrup. And then I'm going to garnish it with just a lemon twist and a Luxardo Cherry. There's our Abasolo Sour. Our third drink is going to be a salted caramel corn old fashioned. And as usual, I'm going to use a glass that Doc Martinez of Old Fashioned Ways gave me. So for this one, as usual, 2 ounces of Abasolo. And for the sweetener, I'm going to use a barspoon of Licor 43 and a barspoon of that Piloncillo syrup that we had to make anyway. I thought the Licor 43 would give a lot of good like vanilla and like caramel notes, and the Piloncillo syrup will help too. And I thought chocolate bitters and Angostura bitters would go really well in this one. I'm going to put in a little bit of the saline solution just to really make it a salted caramel corn old fashioned. I'll be serving this over Skull Ice. And when I make a stirred cocktail, I just kind of stir it until I get a nice frost on the mixing glass. And then I'm going to garnish it with 3 pieces of Werther's Original caramel corn. So there's our salted caramel corn old fashioned. So let's give these 3 Mexican corn whiskey cocktails a try. Now, if you remember the first one, the Last Cob, was our equal parts cocktail where we had Ancho, Reyes, Abasolo, and Licor 43. And this is like an original drink I came up with myself. I'm pretty proud of it. I mean, it's kind of easy to come up with recipes using that formula, but I actually tried 2 different things before I settled on this one. First, I had Aperol as my lower proof liqueur, and the whole thing was just too bitter even for me. And then I thought maybe Amaro Nonino, and I still didn't think it was quite there, but the Licor 43 like worked perfectly. It's a lot thicker and sweeter, and I think this one needed that. But you still taste the corn and the green pepper, so it almost reminds you of like Mexican street corn or something. The second one I got off of the Abasolo website, and I just followed their instructions exactly. So this is my first time tasting it. I think I might like that one a little better than mine. It's really like bright and refreshing with the lemon. The Piloncillo is a really good sweetener, and really adding a little bit of Campari to a whiskey sour, it almost puts you in the mind of like a paper plane a little bit. So I really like that one. It looks kind of like a paper plane too, and that's one of my favorites. So finally we have our salted caramel corn old fashioned. Kind of came up with this one on my own. Hopefully I didn't go too far with the sweet stuff, but we'll see. It really does smell like a box of Cracker Jacks or something. Maybe I'm smelling my Werther's Garnish. No, the drink kind of does too. I think that's just right. A bar spoon of the Licor 43, a bar spoon of Piloncillo or whatever syrup you have. I think that's just enough. If you like really sweet drinks, maybe add like a 3rd bar spoon of one of those things. So I would say like all 3 of these are a success. Let me know in the comments below which one you think sounds the best, which one you might want to try. Let me know if you've ever tried any Mexican whiskeys. I've heard whiskey is getting pretty big in Mexico. They've got a lot of good corn down there, and I think there's at least like 12 whiskey distilleries in Mexico now, so maybe Mexican whiskey will be the next big thing.